Hello, everyone, and welcome to another lovely episode of And Rolling. Woo! Maddie, what do we see?
We saw the drama.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Now give it to me a little bit more dramatic.
Drama!
Whoa. Crazy.
How was that?
That was very dramatic.
Thank you.
I was taken aback. Maddie, do you want to give us a rundown of the drama? Go for it, girl.
So, this dude named Charlie is walking into a coffee shop and he sees this girl and he's like, oh my God, beautiful, stunning, absolutely stunning.
Stunning.
And he goes and he gets his coffee and he's just creeping on her. And while she stands up to go and like get a refill, he takes a picture of the book she's reading and then Googles it. Actually, not Google, Goodreads it. Gets a little...
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, cool, paid partnership. Like,
gets a little insight into the book and then goes up and like says, oh my gosh, can't believe you're reading this. Blah, 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 blah. And she doesn't move at all. And he's like, everyone thinks I'm a freak. And he's like looking around and like perceiving people watching him, like judging him. And he goes back to sit down and then comes back up and is like, by the way, I'm not a freak. I don't know. I'll leave, blah, blah, blah. And she turns and is like, were you talking to me? I'm deaf in that ear. And He's like, ha. And she says, well, do you want to read you? Like, you could start over. And so he goes and he sits back down and he comes up and he says the like exact same thing. And then they are on their first date. Like, they cuts to the first date.
whoa.
And so you're kind of like seeing this in and out bit of their history of them meeting. And then Charlie talking to his best friend about the wedding speech that he's about to give. So it's like a flashback where 2 years later, they're a week away from getting married. Charlie is, of course, Robert Pattinson. And Emma is Zendaya. And so then you also see Zendaya talking to two of her girlfriends, and her one friend Rachel, who's played by Alana Haim, is like, so you can't use that story in your speech, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. And like, is he your first love, first crush? Like, that's crazy. And it just kind of has like a weird vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But they, you're just kind of seeing them live their life right before their wedding. Truthfully, lots still to be done, it seems, 1 week before their wedding.
I am honestly shocked. I feel like it's those TikToks where they're like, it's 2 weeks before my wedding and I haven't picked out catering. I haven't picked out my photographer. I'm like, girl, you got a lot to do.
Yeah.
Like,
yes. Yeah. No. So you see them go to their dance lesson and the dance is very involved.
yeah.
And at the end of it, Zendaya's like, well, do we really have to do this? Like, couldn't we just kind of dance around like normal people to this one song? And the dance instructor is like very rude, abrupt. I don't know. Just like, no, we're not doing that. I mean, like,
Yeah.
presumably she's already been paid. Like, what does she really care if people do her dance or not? Anyway,
I know.
she's a real stick in the mud. Charlie is like clearly trying to get Emma to just sort of like stop making a scene and stop saying essentially what she wants. And then they're walking out and they stop on the corner and they think that they see the DJ for their wedding smoking heroin in a public park.
Which is crazy.
It was like that was the first bit where I was like, oh, okay. Not what you're expecting. And like, they're like very derailed by this. And so they're
oddly concerned, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, they're at this dinner, like a tasting, which again, insane to be doing the week of your wedding.
yes.
But they're at this tasting with the best man, who is the friend that Rob that Charlie was talking to, and then also Rachel, and they are married. Rachel and is it Mike?
Yeah, Mike.
Rachel and Mike are married, and they're both standing up in Emma and Charlie's wedding as best man and maid of honor. And so they're like chatting and drinking and tasting the food, and they bring up the DJ. And everyone's really like going in on her, except for Zendaya. She's like, maybe it wasn't her. Maybe we caught her on her worst day. Like, it's not like she's performing surgery. She's just playing music. And honestly, maybe that's exactly the party vibe that we want. But everyone else is like acting like they saw this woman like slaughtering a goat on the street.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy. Yeah, we'll get into it.
I mean, like, if I saw someone I knew in a professional setting doing that on the street and I'd hired them for something, I would be like, whoa, that's crazy. But at the same time, it is the DJ.
It's
not like they have a lot of responsibility to, like...
Right. Also, keyword there, I think, is professional setting. Like, I don't know. Sorry.
I mean, again, truthfully, like, smoking heroin on the street is shocking, even if I don't know them. Like... That isn't something I see every day.
Right.
So I can see where that is like, oh my God. But the way that they were acting like it meant that 2 days from the wedding they had to fire her and find someone else. Personally, I think I would have been like, you know what? If they're not super high at the wedding...
Yeah, well, they act like oh, she's gonna do heroin, therefore she's going to like snort it in front of everyone at the party or something. Like that's like her go-to mode operandi, or whatever she's doing. Injecting it right into her veins, bro.
Yeah.
Insanity, but keep going.
So it devolves into this conversation where Rachel's like, oh my God, that's like Mike's dog story. And everyone's like, what is that story? And he says, no, we aren't supposed to say that because Mike's dog story is apparently the worst thing he's ever done. He and Rachel told each other the worst things they've ever done before their wedding. And then they said they would never tell each other. They'd never tell anybody else. And she's breaking it and then like makes him tell this story of how he went to Mexico with an ex-girlfriend, and on that girlfriend's birthday they came across a street dog who attacked them, and he used the girlfriend as a human shield. And yeah, that's bad, but Rachel's is much worse, in my opinion.
Dude, Rachel's is like
the girlfriend got bit, but it doesn't sound like she got like mauled or anything.
No,
just bit once or something. I don't know. And Rachel then is like, no, don't tell mine. I don't want to, and I'm too embarrassed. But with very little persuasion, she tells everyone, and it's that when she was a child, like 12, there was a neighborhood kid who she calls Slow, and she says that he was kind of obsessed with her, and he came to her house and like asked if she'd go and hang out with him, and she says, I must have been bored, because she did.
Mm-hmm.
So they go into the woods and they find this like abandoned camper super far in the woods, and it smells terrible, and she says there's beer and porn everywhere, and all of a sudden she gets this impulse and she pushes the kid in the closet and locks him in, and he starts screaming, and she just leaves. And then when the dad of that kid comes later that night to be like, have you seen my son? She lies and says no. And everyone at the table is like, oh my God, what the fuck? And then they're like, well, did what happened? And she's like, I don't know. And when that doesn't seem to be like a good answer, she then kind of changes the story and is like, well, they found him the next day.
Yeah.
After a search. And we'll get into like all of that, but suspicious behavior. And so then Charlie goes, and he's just basically like, I cyberbullied someone, but I was 14. And they're like, well, that's 14. Like, your brain wasn't even developed, and like, that's not that bad. And so then Zendaya goes, and they're drinking a lot of wine, and I think like I don't know, you can kind of tell right from the start that like she's about to say something that she shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like she's going to be too honest. And she says that when she was 15, she planned and almost executed a school shooting. She had been bullied as a kid and had moved around a lot, and when she was 14, they moved to Louisiana, and people were really mean to her there. And there'd been a lot of school shootings, and her dad was a military dude with a gun. And so she like kind of fell in on this aesthetic of school shooters and brought a weapon to school, but then backed out and never did anything. And Rachel goes bananas. Rachel's like, how dare you say that? I can't believe you would have planned that. You know, my cousin is paralyzed from a school shooting.
Yeah.
And Emma is like, she goes so pale, and she's like, I did not know that. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't do it.
Right.
I was 15, and I regret it. But it becomes this whole thing, and Mike and Rachel leave. Charlie is like shocked, and when they get to their apartment, which by the way, they have the most beautiful apartment
They're in
I've
downtown
ever seen.
Boston, and I'm like, this dude's family has to be filthy rich, because it is, you talk about, they're in like what I'm assuming is like somewhat historic Boston, and it's got the highest ceilings I've ever seen in my entire life.
I would kill for that kitchen.
Like, yeah, it's got a really nice kitchen.
And like a beautiful, I mean, for us, the spiral staircase is not practical.
I'm not a big fan of that.
But it worked, and everything else about that apartment was lovely. Anyway, they go home, and well, actually, before they go home, Zendaya throws up at the tasting, and then she's throwing up like a lot.
Yeah.
She's really messed up, and then they get home, and I think she goes to bed. Does she throw up again?
She throws up a lot in this movie, so I couldn't tell you the exact moments, but
yeah, she goes to bed. She wakes up. Charlie's not there. He comes in.
Well, she's like spiraling. She thinks like, oh, what if he like met with Mike, and Mike's like,
you need to leave. You go back to London. Like, cancel everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some interesting cuts in this movie where you can't always tell what's real versus what's just like internal speculation of or like desires of the characters, where it's like,
yeah,
and then they'll say this, but that's not actually what's happening. It's just them thinking this could be what happens. So a lot, like, I guess that most of it ends kind of close to this big confrontation that her and Charlie have, where he comes home, he brings coffee, and she for a moment imagines herself laughing, and then him laughing, and then them kind of like cuddling on the couch, and it being a non-issue. Yeah.
Right.
That doesn't happen. Charlie's like, what the fuck? Zendaya's like explaining things about herself that clearly she hasn't shared before, about moving a lot, being into that aesthetic as like a misguided, lonely, unsupervised teenager. And we see some flashbacks of her like walking around her family's house carrying her dad's rifle, and then like, I don't know, throughout the movie you see these different flashbacks of her as a teenager planning this, where like she's making a video, like her essentially like why I did it video, and her software needs to update, and so she can't get through the video because it keeps like shutting down on her. And then also her at school being picked on, and what we see isn't like intense bullying. It's like, have you ever heard of deodorant? And then like a girl kind of like bumping her, and then she falls into some water, and Charlie's like, that's all? And she says, well, those are just two examples, but it was like constant.
Mm-hmm.
And so Rachel is shutting her out. Charlie is spiraling. They're kind of like going through the motions of getting ready. They go to the wedding photographer.
It's the most awkward thing I've ever seen in my life.
Charlie cannot smile and clearly doesn't want to be anywhere near Zendaya. At one point, he throws away a coffee mug that says, it has like a picture of a gun on it, and says, coffee or I'll shoot.
Yeah.
And she finds it in the trash, and she's like, did you throw that away? Like, you can't get over this. He ends up talking to his coworker. He's like spiraling, And he's like, what would you do if your boyfriend had planned a school shooting? And the coworker's like, probably call the police. And he just gets more and more upset until he like storms out and like tosses a chair over. I'm kind of going in and out of like what happens because it's sort
You're
of
fine.
fuzzy.
Yeah.
At one point, like, so he does that, but I think earlier he goes to Rachel and to Mike and is like, you don't understand, like, she had a really hard childhood. She saw her friend die, which isn't really true. She did have a friend who died, but she didn't see it. So he's kind of lying. And then he sees, Rachel's like, well, I have to talk to my cousin and make sure that she's okay if I go to the wedding. And then on his way out of Rachel's office, he sees the cousin and he tries to talk to her. And that doesn't go very well because he's just like, he's kind of in this zone where he's so freaked out that everything is coming out wrong. And so he seems like a crazy person.
Yeah.
And then he has this interlude with his coworker. She comes to find him after he like storms out and like throws over a chair. And she's like, okay, what was that? And he just starts like sobbing and she tries to comfort him. And he had asked her what the worst thing she's ever done before was. And she says cheating. And he kind of gets like the rundown of like why she cheated. And we'll go into that because I have some thoughts there. And he ends up kissing her and he rips open her blouse. He like turns her around, raises her skirt. He like undoes his pants. And as he's about to like enter, he's like, what the fuck am I doing? And he stops and she slowly like collects the buttons that he's torn off of her shirt and is like, okay, so that's interesting. And then we're at the wedding.
Yeah.
We see them kiss. We see them.
Oh, they fire the DJ.
Oh, yeah. They have this like weirdly intense conversation with the DJ where Charlie was the one who was really like, we can't hire her. Emma earlier was like, this could be the worst day of her life. Like, we don't know anything about it. And it's like not super relevant to what we're asking her to do.
Right.
But then she takes on this, she becomes the one like,
because
just tell the truth. Like,
because
tell
Charlie
us you were
bitches
doing
out and he's like, oh, I can't actually,
yeah.
Like,
and so she follows through and is like, just tell the truth. Like, and then she's like, well, you know what? You're fired. And the DJ is like, you're awful. Well, she says words that I actually don't like to use. So she calls her some names and then she calls Charlie a pussy, which I also don't love to use as a derogatory thing, but that's my soapbox. And they walk out. At the dinner, Mike finds this new DJ. Mike is like the wedding planner. It's kind of crazy. Mike is going here, there, and everywhere getting this wedding going.
Yeah.
And so he finds this like random DJ who is
fresh off the streets, bro. He's like, you love gear?
and in a different way than the original DJ.
Well, he's like,
do you like gear?
Yeah,
all
dude,
of my gear that I brought.
It's so cool. It's kind of an unusual setup. It's really neat. I love it.
And Charlie's just like, I don't care. And so then he has to like talk to, anyway, he sets up. They are going through the motions. Rachel gives this horrible speech where she's like, I met Charlie through my husband Mike, and then I met Emma, and when she asked me to be her maid of honor, I was like, don't you have any real friends? Haha, kidding. And that's how she started it. And then she basically was like, Charlie's very open-minded, and I think the two of you are perfect for each other.
Yeah.
And everything is just like painful to watch. Mike then like kind of gets her to stop talking. And that's no good. And then Emma's dad gives a speech, and it's about, because something that we learn later is that Emma became an anti-gun activist. The reason she did not go through with the shooting is that a different shooting happened at a mall, and one of her classmates was killed. And it really impacted her and the other people at her school. And so as they're doing these like grief counseling things, she starts to connect with people. She's asked to join a like an anti-gun group, and then is kind of chosen among them to be their voice, their like speaker.
Yeah.
And she finds friends, she finds connection, and it's kind of this like beautiful moment where then you see her throwing her videotapes of her like, why I'm gonna do this, and her walking around with the gun and her father's rifle into like a bog, the swamp,
The marsh of Louisiana.
yeah, it's gone. They'll find that in 4,000 years.
It'll be like that man in the British Museum that's
Yeah.
like still has his skin attached to him, and they're
Exactly.
like, yeah, you know,
The bog people.
bog man. Yeah.
I am bog man.
Ew, not bog man.
I'm old Greg.
I'm old Greg.
He got a new Bailey's. So her dad gives this speech, and when he talks about how close to the time that she became this anti-gun activist, his rifle went missing, Rachel laughs really, really hard, and then immediately, like, as they're talking about the guns, the DJ hits a wrong cable, and a gun, like, the sound of a gunshot goes off.
Yeah.
And it scares the shit out of everyone. Oh, yeah. And another thing about the photographer is it's like when they met with her, she just kept going over the shoot list. I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot your parents.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot your grandparents. I'm going to shoot you and your parents.
Yeah.
And that was just incredible. But I forgot to mention that previously. So that happened a couple days ago at this point. At the wedding, you see Rachel and Misha, Charlie's coworker, who he almost slept with, talking. And that's like making Charlie paranoid, but it's also making Emma paranoid. And so Emma's in the bathroom. She thinks she hears Misha talking about a school shooting, and she's like, oh my God, Rachel told her. And so she freaks out. She makes Charlie corner Emma and Charlie go into a different room. She makes Charlie go and get Misha to talk about like how she knows about the school shooting, because Charlie won't come clean and say, I told her. And so
Right.
Misha walks in and goes, for the record, he kissed me.
Right.
And all hell breaks loose.
Mm-hmm.
But they kind of like walk away. She listens to what Misha has to say. They go back in, and Mike is like, and now the bride will give her speech to the groom. And she's like, no. And so he's like, never mind, the groom will go. And so Charlie gets up there and just fumbles, and like fumbles hard.
Dude, it's like bad. I'm like, what are you doing?
He's like word souping it, and then he goes, she didn't do anything, so stop gossiping. And then
Yeah, she didn't actually mean to do a school shooting, guys, and everyone's like, what the fuck?
he doesn't say that yet.
Okay,
First it sounds like she cheated, and then he's like, and I've put her in such an embarrassing position, and I would never, I'm not even into Misha. And Misha's boyfriend's there, and he's like, what is he talking about? And,
Yeah.
And she's like, he kissed me, but blah, blah, blah. And you hear them kind of talking in the background. And then the boyfriend, who's this pretty large man, gets up and is like, did you sexually harass my girlfriend? And when Charlie doesn't say anything, he headbutts him. And that's when truly all hell breaks loose. There's like Rachel is yelling at the boyfriend. Mike is intervening. Zendaya is gone. You see Charlie walk into their apartment, and he's just covered in blood. And I laughed incredibly hard.
You did. You laughed really hard.
I thought that was really funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of love to see Rob Pattinson when he's down. He plays like downtrodden so well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's just someone that, like, when he's playing a loser, he is such a loser. It's
I know.
so enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, he does a really good job at
He's so good at being just like, ugh.
that.
So yeah, it really got me. And he's miserable at home. He can't get Emma to talk to him. And then he goes to this diner close to their apartment, orders, and they'd fought earlier about whether they would go to the diner in their wedding after the wedding. And he's like, no, that's like, I don't know, cheesy or like bad. And she's like, no, it's like when someone wins an Oscar and then they go to like a burger joint.
Yeah, they go to like
nicest
McDonald's.
attire.
Yeah.
Just saw pictures of Michael B. Jordan doing that and going to In-N-Out. So I was like,
Oh,
yep.
he did?
Yeah. Yeah. And the photos looked very fun.
There you
so
go.
Emma's onto something.
Shout out In-N-Out.
Shout out Michael B.
Yeah.
So then he's there, he's eating his sad burger. Emma walks in, doesn't look at him at first. She orders and comes and is like, "Can I sit?" And then is like, "Do you live around here? What's your name?" And they start over.
Yep, and that's the movie. This movie accomplished something that only one other movie has really made accomplish for me, to where I was actively cringing hardcore in my seat the entire time. And
Only one movie's ever done that for you?
yeah.
What movie was that? 1, 2, 3. Friendship.
I can't remember the name, but it's that movie on Netflix with Eliza Schlesinger or whatever her name is.
Oh,
Where the guy like lives a false life,
yeah.
and she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, he's a millionaire. He's really cool." And then he
Oh
like
my
lives
God.
with his mom, and I'm like, "This is my worst
He doesn't
nightmare."
even live with his mom. He lives with 4 roommates, and they kick him out because he won't pay for anything.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there is that movie. I feel like I cringe at a lot of things. Friendship, when he leaves his wife in the sewer. Unbelievable.
I
Anyway,
mean, yeah. That's a pretty crazy one, but yeah.
this was I didn't watch any of the trailers, and I'm so glad I didn't. And I know that they kept like the plot twist of like what goes wrong pretty close and guarded until the movie came out. I found this movie to be incredibly enjoyable and like also hard to watch and frustrating.
Yeah.
It was like my type of tension.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. This movie, and I feel like this movie does a really good job of talking. This is the type of movie that I'm like, yeah, like I wish there were more movies like this, because, and I think you mentioned this too when we were talking to.
Yeah, we kind of went and saw this with other people, but tragically we can't get them on the pod.
You know, it's just the way it is, guys. I'm sorry.
Truthfully, I do feel like 5 would be a lot.
Oh, 5 would be way too many.
I wondered if 4 would be too many. 4 was like actually a sweet spot for us.
4 seemed pretty good. 5 would be
worry.
too long. We'd have to extend the podcast length a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we'd need more equipment.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we could barely do 4 because we had to.
Thank God Gibbs used to podcast and had a much better mic than we'll ever see.
We'll get one.
We'll get one.
We'll get one.
We share it. We trade off who uses the
We
Gibbs
could put
mic.
it in like the middle of a table and use it. It was pretty good. But
Yeah, it was very good.
yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
If I got a Blue Yeti or whatever it's called,
It's a Blue Yeti.
I would the quandary of whether I want to start an ASMR channel would be so strong.
You should do it.
I truthfully, I just think it would be fun.
Yeah. I hear you. But it talks about things and like social situations that I enjoyed in a way that I enjoyed, I guess.
It was one of those great things, and this I did sort of say last night, where it's addressing social issues, but from a very like non-social issue lens, where you're almost tricked into facing like cancel culture, gun violence, like personal morality, and like empathy and redemption, without really addressing that by name, because you're so focused on the breakdown of the relationship of these characters that's almost like the bigger social ills of it all is secondary.
Yeah. Well, right, exactly. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, actually. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I just think that's
Yeah.
really good storytelling, and it's very,
Yes.
in some ways, very gothic.
Whoa.
Very gothic.
Mary Shelley coming back
Knock,
around
knock.
again. Yeah, knock, knock. Oh,
Who's there?
God.
Now talk about some drama. That opening sequence was full of it in Frankenstein. No, sorry, The Bride. The Bride.
The Bride.
The Bride.
Yeah.
The drama and the bride.
I one of the things that I mentioned was, I think I actually said it in the theater because I was just like, I couldn't keep it in. I was like, the incredible lack of empathy that's happening in this group right now
They
is astounding to me.
Emma is the only one who did not do the horrible thing.
Yeah, she just says that she thought about it.
She she planned it, and
Okay.
that is bad.
Right.
But Rob, I keep calling him Rob. Charlie cyberbullied someone to the point where he says they had to move, and he sort of laughs when he says it as if that's funny, like he hasn't felt any kind of adult remorse over that kind of behavior. And they're all like, "Oh, you're 14. Your brain's not developed. It's fine." And they like brush it aside.
Yeah.
And then Emma is like,
Just call them by their actors' names. It's fine.
I don't know, I'm trying though.
Zendaya.
She's like, "I was 15. I didn't know any, and they're acting like she's saying that she's planning on doing it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they're all like, "Call the police."
Yeah.
What are the police going to do about that?
Is they're like, call the police. And I'm like, so we're going to call the police on someone for something that they...
She's 30. This was 15 years ago.
Right, yeah, planned on doing 15 years ago.
And
they're
didn't
gonna
actually
be like,
do in a different state.
Right.
Walk me through that one, babes. And then Charlie has this whole conversation with Rachel and Mike, and he's like, I mean, I think this is kind of an American thing. Like, when you think about how many people, like, there's shootings every day here in this country. So when you think about how many people have maybe planned and just not followed through, it's probably way more than what you think, which I thought was actually an excellent point. And then Rachel's like, what? So you're going to tell me it's an American problem and all Americans feel this way? And I was like, babes, it is an American problem.
Right.
It, like, actually, that is true.
Yeah.
It's not an option in the same way in other countries, so they don't have teens obsessing over the aesthetics of school shootings.
What did you think about Rachel's character?
I felt like she hated Emma from the start, and she seemed to really like her husband, and if not for that, I would have wondered if she was like partially in love with Charlie.
Really? Okay.
Just the way that she was, like, very protective of him. Okay, hear me out. She's, like, protecting Charlie in the beginning when she says that Emma can't use the opening story because that makes Charlie look bad. And then she's, like, very dismissive of Charlie's bad thing and very easy to forgive him.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, when that dude, Misha's boyfriend, beats the shit out of Charlie, she's like telling that man off. Like, she keeps saying, like, you keep seeing her say, like, fuck you, leave him. Like, I don't know if she says leave him alone, but she says fuck you. She's like involving herself in that fight. And I just thought that was like, if you really were upset with him for being with Emma, you wouldn't be defending him that much.
Right.
Unless you felt some kind of way. But I don't know that was really fully fleshed out, because her and Mike did seem to have a good, albeit, like, weird relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I feel like
I'm not saying it is, like, totally there, but I think there was, like, an undertow.
Yeah.
Of, like, is there something here? Are we all on the same page about how everyone feels here?
Emma's like...
Rachel? Or Emma?
Yeah, sorry. Rachel. Rachel, I feel like, is one of those... Like, she's one of those people, she just always gets her way. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's
totally.
like kind of the vibe that I get. And, like, I think she uses her, like, hear me out. Maybe I could be totally wrong. This could be a fun conversation possibly, but I feel like she uses her, like, white girl card a bit to be like, I'm a victim, but also in control, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely it does.
Yeah.
Especially the way too that it's like that happened to my cousin.
Yes,
And
like
like
somehow it happens to your cousin, so therefore it happened to you, and therefore it justifies you hating on someone.
like I can totally understand where that happening to your cousin would truly impact you. Absolutely.
Sure.
But the lack of like empathy, or like she hears that and then shuts down entirely. And like I don't know that she ever gets to learn that Emma was like an anti-gun activist. And I don't know that she ever like
I don't think she cares,
no.
to be honest.
It wouldn't change anything because she's the epitome of like a keyboard warrior.
That's yeah, and one of our friends that we saw this with, he was like, I feel like she's the epitome of Reddit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
I'm not on Reddit enough. For me, she's just like in the comments of like a TikTok video being like, well, I can't believe you would have said this.
Honestly,
when
TikTok
I
and
went through
Reddit,
this.
I feel like have a lot of the same overlap, in my opinion.
Probably.
Yeah.
They both can be equally as useful and also equally as like vapid.
I've never felt like I've been more in an echo chamber than when I'm on Reddit, in a lot of ways. In a weird way. Like, whatever side of Reddit I'm on, I'm in the echo chamber, man. And it's, like, obvious. Like, there's the... Like, if you're on, like, the conservative subreddit, which sometimes it's really funny to go on to and just look, it's like you're in it, man. Like, you're in the echo chamber. And then when you're, like, outside of that, it's like people are like, Trump sucks. Like, I'm on here 24/7, and I don't understand how 50% of the country voted for him. And I'm like, because you're in the echo chamber, babes. Like,
but also because that election was rigged.
Right. But it's like one of those things where I'm like, you're in the echo chamber. I don't know how to tell you that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And then Mike was like, I saw a video just before we started filming or recording this of like, everyone's worst thing they ever did is exactly like who they are as a person. So Mike is very conflict avoidant and will use others as shields to avoid getting hurt. And so he's okay. He's trying to kind of manipulate the situation without actively getting himself involved between Charlie and Rachel and Emma.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of like doesn't really take a side. So there's that. Much like him against the dog.
Sure.
Rachel impulsively does something and then doesn't want to like face the consequences.
Yeah, or admit responsibility.
She makes everyone tell their dirty little secret and then isn't okay with some of the answers. Even though she's the one that made them. Like, that would have never come up otherwise.
Right.
And then Rob, he's cyberbullied. And so he is like passively sniping at Emma.
Well, yeah, he does it all the time
out
too.
In the open necessarily.
Yes.
It's these like passive aggressive kind of things. And then Emma, she was going to take action but is restrained enough to not do that. And she's really concerned with like how people perceive her. Very focused on like having the perfect image, which is similar to her with the whole gun aesthetic, and like she changes herself to fit this kind of school shooter vibe.
You know, something that well, because you mentioned this where it was like when you mentioned it with when Rob when he like sexually assaults his coworker.
Yeah, so
underling
and that
person.
is a question that I posed to the group last night.
Yeah.
Sorry, save your thought, but just to get everybody on
go for it.
on the same page. In that scene, at first when they're kissing, I was like, okay, this is consent, this is mutual. She's just been talking about how she cheated on her boyfriend with a married man because the sex was better. And I'm like, she's into this. But then he rips open her shirt and she, I think I'm remembering it right, that she turns herself around.
Yes.
And her face when she turns around looks so blank and unhappy And for a moment I was like, she's not into this. She's just putting up with this and like trying to like.
And that's something that I didn't catch on to, and you guys
and
actually like were kind of like, oh, it's like a freeze response and
yeah,
stuff, and I was like,
and
oh.
so I don't know that I have a whole conclusion to it, but I posed it to the group because I was like, in that split second, I don't know that was consensual.
Yeah.
Because then the boyfriend is like, hey, you sexually harassed Misha.
I mean, he sexually harassed her, whether it was consensual or not.
I mean,
is
sure,
the crazy
sure,
thing.
sure.
Right.
But like, let's put the semantics aside for a second.
Right.
She, and the group was kind of divided. And a couple of us were very much like, that looked like a disassociation response and like a freeze response. And others were like, well, she just was talking about how she cheated and like this fit the same exact pattern of her cheating before.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that I've come to any conclusions, but it was just very interesting that some of us who have done a lot of work in like, sexual violence and like advocacy, we clocked that as like no longer consensual.
I wonder if like her and Emma kind of have a parallel in like their worst thing, because she's like, oh, like I cheated, and then like tries to like, she explains it as if she explains it and then it doesn't, it's like, well, it's not as bad sort of a thing, and like somehow that's more accepting, but then maybe it was actually she's covering up for something that was actually really bad that happened to her. Like she's not fully telling the truth. Maybe she was coerced in some way into cheating or something. Like I could see something like that.
It could be. I also, if we're taking her story face value and like look at like this is really our first interaction of her as a character, this was part where the movie sort of lost me, because it was this like, he was too nice, so I didn't want to be with him. So I found a guy that treated me like shit. I don't like that trope. I think it's the new daddy issues. The like, reason that like men tell themselves that women don't like them or whatever is like, well, I'm too nice. And it used to be like, oh, she has daddy issues. And now it's like,
I feel like it's the same issues that I had with like Wuthering Heights and stuff like that, where I'm like, what are you doing, guys? Like, he's treating you like shit, kind of a thing.
No, because I'm saying that I'm looking at it from a meta perspective of the writer writing it. I'm like, this is a bullshit, like manic pixie dream girl situation of like, I have daddy issues. That's why I'm on Girls Gone Wild.
I see.
And she's like, he was too nice, so I fucked somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's like, men can keep telling themselves that, but like, that's not a real thing.
No, it's not a real thing at all. It's not real.
I have never been like, oh, that guy was too nice to me. He cared too much about me. Yeah. I have no choice but to be awful.
Right.
No.
It doesn't make sense.
Shut up.
Right.
So in a meta way, I'm like,
I see
the
what
writer
you're saying
in that moment lost me.
Yeah.
And I was very much like, okay. And then that whole second thing happened with her and Charlie where, they kiss and whatnot. And I was like, okay, this sort of overshadows the part earlier for her character and makes her character more interesting. So I won't dwell on that too much, but didn't care for that early character depiction.
I'm kind of frustrated that that's the only time that we get to spend with her, really.
I know. She seems so interesting.
But
also, the dress she wore to their wedding, stunning. Zendaya's dress was also stunning.
Yeah. Well, and
you know whose wasn't? Rachel's.
Yeah. I wonder what this movie, they might have had more with her. I'm curious. Because, like, we walked out of that movie and, like, Zach was like, that was a tight 90. Like, he was like,
that's true.
That was a tight 90. And I am kind of like, man, I think that like if you went much beyond that time, that movie may have seemed long.
That movie seemed an indeterminate length of time for me.
I agree. Yes. I was going to say this about Rob's thing and Misha or whatever.
Yeah.
Where it's like he doesn't follow through all the way. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't go all the way. And he immediately pulls back and is like, I'm sorry, and tries to absolve himself of the situation, which is similar to what he does with the cyberbullying, in my opinion, where he's like, well, I did this, but the kid didn't go all the way, and like, he's fine. You know, it was just cyberbullying. You know, and
Yes.
he does this thing where he's like, guys, I'm not actually that bad. It's just the way it is, you know? And I'm like,
He
oh,
throughout the whole movie is like,
you
I
know?
can't think of the worst thing I've ever done. Which,
Right.
like, I don't know, maybe I'm just kept up at night by all of the things I've ever done that are even slightly bad. But, like, the idea that you couldn't come up with, like, okay, maybe off the top of my head, I'm like, I don't know about the worst thing. Like, I'd have to really, like, sit
Yeah.
and weigh them out.
Yeah.
But I can think of immediately, like, some things that I regret doing that I think are bad that I would not do again and that I'm upset with myself in the past.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Well, I was talking about this to you when I was riding all of the L trains and the Metro trains and everything, where it's like you're just on the train for like hours on end, so you have like a lot of thought time, and like the thoughts that like erupted in my head, where I was just like, oh man, yeah, when I was 9, like I did do that super cringe thing. Like,
Yes.
it's like,
Yes. So the idea that he's living his life not even thinking about any of that.
right.
But this brings me to my other, like, a question I've been waiting to ask, which is,
Ooh.
do you believe his worst thing? Was he being honest?
I think my thing is I struggle to believe any of their worst things except for Zendaya somehow, if that makes sense. Like, not in the sense of I don't believe that there's a level of truth to what they're saying. Like, I do think that he probably cyberbullied someone. I think it's way worse than what he's saying, in my opinion. Like, I think it's causing him a lot more emotional distress than what he's leading on to.
I saw someone make the idea that he's so disturbed by Zendaya's confession because it makes him grapple with the fact that he's with someone who was bullied and he used to be the bully. And that's like a compelling thought for sure.
I could see that. Yeah. I think that's an interesting thought.
I'll be honest though, I don't think he's being truthful.
In what way, I guess? What do you mean?
I don't know that I buy that he cyberbullied. That seems like such a, like...
So what do you think do you think that he just made that up? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he lies.
Interesting.
I think he lies throughout the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
Like, he lied about reading the book. He did come clean.
He did lie about reading the book, yeah.
But he lies to Rachel and to Mike about why Zendaya did what she did back 15 years ago. He lies about Misha. There are just so many different ways that I just feel like he's very shifty. I don't think he's comfortable being imperfect.
Well, and I feel like the opening scene where he's like low-key stalking her is
But I also
weird.
think that was maybe on purpose to set up that the worst thing he was going to do hasn't happened yet. And the worst thing he was going to do was, like...
sexually harass his coworker?
Yeah, but also be unfaithful the day before the wedding.
Sure.
And also just in general have this like complete lack of empathy for his wife. Because he has this speech that makes Mike cry at the beginning, and as he learns more about Zendaya, he goes through and you see him delete phrases of like, I'm so inspired by your empathy. You're the kindest person I know.
Yeah.
He deletes, and then he ends up like deleting the whole speech. But the first couple of like very pointed phrases he deletes are just so... I felt so bad for Emma.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
Well, because he just makes her become just a black and white person.
You see in his mind, he's like, walking with her, and suddenly he's walking with young Emma.
Yeah.
And he gets this like magazine that's art book of women with guns, and Zendaya ends up like in there at one point. He's
Yeah.
visualizing her.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about this with who we saw it with, and I was like, I feel like what Rob is doing is what like the media does a little bit with like school shooters and stuff. And let me explain. Like where like a kid will shoot up the school, and then immediately the media will be like, "Oh, this was the most disturbed child in the world. Like they had always been this way. They're always evil. Like Satan has a hold of them," sort of a thing. When in reality, like, yes, the kid did an evil act, but like what pushed them to that point? What got them there? And like Rob is not interested in what got her to that point or what changed her or like viewing her as a human being with emotions and thoughts and complicated feelings. Like he's just like, well, she's a devil. There we go. And that's like all the stuff he eliminates. It's like she can have a past where she wasn't empathetic or like did something bad, and then guess what? She changed. Like if you don't believe that someone can change, then you don't believe in like a rehabilitation system, and you might as well advocate for the death penalty for every crime, you know, like go ancient Greece on us here, in my opinion, you know. That's kind of the vibe that I got from Rob, personally.
Okay, yeah.
No, I just feel like, I don't know, like I feel like if society is siding with Rob, or you feel like you're siding with Rob or Rachel or Mike, like you're advocating for this kind of plutocratic, you know, oh, like we need to just punish everyone sort of vibe. So that's my feeling.
I think that like this movie did a great job of showing how the cure for school shooters is like community.
Yeah.
And like you see her alone in this house all the time. She's got no supervision. She's, you know, just off by herself, and then she's a loner at school. And then as soon as she gets some friends and feels valued and seen, she literally tosses the gun in the swamp.
Right.
So it's like, you know, that itself is a very political statement that like social services, but also like because it's some therapy that they go through as like a school, but then also just like intentional community rehabilitated her. And I think you can make the argument that like it's clear from the way that she describes it that she was hurting, she was depressed, and she like saw other people do this. It's not like she was fantasizing about the killing part. You know what I mean? It's so complicated because there are some people like the Columbine killers who I think were so sick that this was in their nature. But
Right.
then there are some people who are like made sick by society.
Yeah.
And by the normalization of gun violence, and then it seems like it's their only act.
Yeah.
Only option. It's so hard to like draw the line. And I think it would have been so different if it had been Charlie who was gonna school shoot.
Why do you think it would have been different?
Truthfully, the MO, like he's more of the
He's
typical,
the type.
yeah, a white man.
Yeah. Well, and like they bring that up in one of the flashbacks that Zendaya has, where she's like, "Men aren't the only school shooters. Like, you know, women do stuff too." And
yes.
like,
and like, yeah. fair enough, I
like,
guess. But like,
do you think that they would have had? This is a good question, actually. Do you think that the group would have had? Are you saying? Maybe you're already saying this, and I just want to confirm. Are you saying, or do you think that the group would have had more sympathy for Rob if he said that because he's a white man?
No, I think.
Okay.
I think they maybe would have had more sympathy for him, but not necessarily because he's a white man. I think because he's their friend. and they don't like Emma very much.
Interesting. Okay.
I think it goes back to me of like, I think that Rachel's somewhat into Charlie.
Yeah, because, well, the reason I hear what you're saying, and I understand.
Mike seems to have the most tempered response out of all of them, if the whole thing of him telling Rob to go back to London was in someone's head.
That it seems like it was in someone's head. That seems like in someone's head. I don't think that's true, based off the vibes. But the reason I asked is because, like, you see, I think that you're seeing a lot of like media commentary, where people are like, young men just aren't heard. They're not heard. And like, we need to focus on those young men, you know? And what they're really saying is like, we need to actually maintain control of like white men and make sure that they stay in power, sort of a thing. But it's like all an act of sympathy to make them feel like they belong to a group, you know? And like, it's all fake sympathy. And so I was kind of wondering if that's what you were thinking, but I don't think, like, it's clearly not. But, you know.
There's no way around it. Like, I think that men have a propensity to be more violent towards their partners.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that women can't beat up or kill men, but just women, what's that statistic of like women are more likely to die of partner violence and men are more likely to die of heart attacks?
Right.
So it's like, I guess I just don't worry about Zendaya in the same way that I would find that really worrisome if it were Charlie. Being a woman and knowing other women, I am less likely to trust the facade of a happy marriage when there's a man in it that has like a dark secret like that. I feel like I get the vibe of what you're saying, but the words that you're using to describe it are offering conflating images in my head.
They might be.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and that's
like
fair.
They're sympathetic for them to keep white men in power. I wasn't fully following that.
Well, I was making a broader political statement about the world.
I'm still not fully following why being sympathetic to white, like, you mean essentially that white men get a pass, but that's not to like keep men in power. That's just a symptom of men being like white men being in power.
Yes.
Like how the guy who shot up that African American church in Charleston or wherever it was, like 15 years ago now, 10 years ago.
Right. They get like a pass, right? And they're like propped up as a hero, and white men get a pass as a symptom of them being in power, and then also other white men in power give them a pass so that those white men feel accepted, so that then they can create a system to maintain the power, is what I'm saying. And like keep other white men in control as like a bearing of the torch situation, is what I'm saying. I feel like they kind of do that in this movie, where like they just kind of dismiss what he's saying, and they're like, oh man, that's like kind of crazy. But like, you're not fucked up. You know, you're actually okay. You know, and it's fine that you cyberbullied someone, actually, because you're a white guy. So, you know, I feel like they kind of say that in this movie. Like, they kind of dismiss what he does, and it's like not important, kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
They also dismiss Mike's too pretty quickly. They dismiss all of them.
Yeah.
Rachel's they hover on a little bit longer, but pretty much all except for Zendaya's they dismiss. That's just like it's targeted.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Do you think this is a happy ending? And do you think they stay married?
They probably do stay married. Based off what I saw. How long do they stay married for? I don't.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, flash forward 35 years.
It depends on if they get it resolved, if they go to couples therapy, like, you know, if they work on their issues, in my opinion. They could, they couldn't. It really depends. And like, that's one of those things that's like really difficult to predict, in my opinion, based off. But I think that's a credit to this movie because this movie makes it like kind of complicated. And if Zendaya hadn't have caved at the end, I say caved as if she's like giving in to something, but like if she hadn't forgiven him, I guess, or been more understanding at the end, I would have been like, this definitely is not a happy ending then. And also they have no chance of continuing the marriage.
Right.
I mean, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't actually think it was a happy ending.
Yeah.
I felt sad for Zendaya because I think Charlie realized that he messed up, but I think he learned that too late, and like he should have I think he failed her.
Oh, 100%.
And I think that was his big thing.
Yeah.
And I wanted her to be like, it's over. It was sweet what she did instead, and like very magnanimous, and I don't know that I could be like that forgiving the day of my wedding, finding out that all of that had gone down and that he was still like fixated on this thing. Like, would he ever look at you the same way? But I don't know. I don't know that I think they stay together, in part because I don't know how I could like bring my husband around to family events if on the day of our wedding he got beat up because he sexually harassed his coworker the day before, and like all of my family witnessed that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, personal pride would be such a leading force in that divorce.
Yeah, I wasn't really factoring that in, I guess.
No, like that. As soon as she sat down, I was like, imagine explaining this to your parents. Of like,
I was thinking
together.
that in the theater, but yeah, and you explain it again. That's a good point. Probably not, I guess. Then, I mean, that's
I think that would be a very big thing to overcome as a family.
Yeah. That would be difficult. I guess. Is happy no. I don't think it's an unhappy ending necessarily. I think that in some ways it's like an unsatisfying ending, if that makes sense.
Really? I was pretty satisfied with it. I was like, yeah, all right. These characters make their choices, and like I just have to be okay with that, which I am.
I guess when I say unsatisfying, I mean like there's still a lot of open-endedness. Like you're asking questions at the end. Like, do you think that blah, 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 blah? Like it's not tied up in a neat little bow. Like I think about like Project Hail Mary, for example, and you're like, oh, mission accomplished. He's going to live there. He's going to be a teacher. You know what I mean? Like no questions. And
I don't know. There was a big question of whether he was going to stay on Tau Ceti. Or not Tau Ceti, Arid.
Yeah, but they answer that question.
But they don't.
He's like, I need to think about it for a long, long time, which heavily implies that he's going to stay. Like in this movie, it's like way more open-ended on what's going to happen next. You just don't know.
I think they're wrapped up exactly the same way.
I so disagree with you on that.
All right. You're allowed to disagree with me.
I'm just telling you. I know I can. They're going to eat this up. They love it when we disagree. Good thing is we don't disagree as much as Rob and Zendaya in this movie.
No, we leaned over to each other and we're like, they're kind of making this a huge deal when she didn't do anything and she regrets it and is very remorseful and has turned over a new leaf. Like, I'm sorry, Jean Valjean who?
Do we want to talk about the audience?
What about them?
I thought they were fun.
They were fun.
We had a fun group. And
yeah. I mean, we had fun. They were fun. I laughed mercilessly at someone who clapped at the end.
Yes, there was only one
so
person.
funny.
It was like a big theater, and they like started clapping, and
no one joined in.
No one joined them, and you laughed so hard. I think you hurt their feelings.
I maybe cyberbullied someone in real life. You know what, though? They need to learn.
You caused them to move. You caused them to leave the theater.
I maybe did, and I think that's a good learning experience for them, that you don't clap after a movie, you dumb fuck.
No. no one saw it.
Are you
Or, like,
you at
no
the
one-
premiere?
Right.
Are you at
The
the
filmmakers
red
aren't
carpet?
here. Yeah, when I say no one saw it, I mean like none of the filmmakers saw it. Like,
Are you on the red carpet with Zendaya? Don't clap,
no, don't clap.
weirdo.
And there was also a girl who was like nearby us who, when something would happen, she would be like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Like,
I
was
actually
like,
really liked her
yes.
commentary
Yeah.
because the movie's called The Drama. Like, yes, respond.
And it was also exactly how I was feeling too. I just didn't vocalize it. I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only laugh track I ever want is that one woman.
Yes. Yeah. It was very good. This movie was surprisingly funny too. There are some funny bits in this movie.
There's some very
I know
funny
we've been
bits.
talking about some really like dramatic stuff and like serious topics, but like there are a lot of really funny moments in this movie that I liked. It was good. It was good.
All right, what do you rate it?
So I was thinking about this, and I'm like, I would rate it an 8, but it's like a high 8. You know, like it's like an 8.5, but like not really. I'm kind of like. It's kind of like, for me, I feel like Project Hail Mary and this movie should be on the same level because I did have some issues with this movie, you know? So I feel like it's an 8, but it's like the best movie I've seen all year, in my opinion.
The Drama is the best movie you've seen all year?
What's another movie that I've seen this year that's been better?
Dracula. I'm kidding. I don't know. I wasn't expecting that from you.
I'll look through and see.
No, I just wasn't. That's fine if it is. I just wasn't expecting that.
Girl, I'm just double checking.
I thought you would say that Hail Mary is the best movie you've seen all year.
No. Hail Mary, I think that Hail Mary was my favorite movie so far of this year
and
until
then the Drama
this.
knocked it out. Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because, yeah, the drama's better and is a deeper movie. Like, Project Hail Mary is good. Like, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, I just feel like it... Well, I did see Testament of Anne Lee. I think that the drama's better. And then I would put the Drama and then the Testament of Anne Lee as my 2 favorite movies so far of this year. Personally. So, there you go. Because, well, we saw Marty Supreme, didn't we?
That was in December, I thought. So technically last year.
Yeah. Were we sitting on that one for that long? We might have been.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, because People We Meet on Vacation was like the first movie we saw of this year.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So...
Anyway, that's fine if this is.
No, I know. I truly believe that it is. Yeah, because I'm looking through all the movies that we have seen, and this is my favorite so far of the year. And then it would be Project Hail Mary.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Or no, I'm sorry, Testament of Anne Lee, then Project Hail Mary. I really like Testament of Anne Lee. Yeah.
Not to be confused with the opening of Wuthering Heights.
Yeah. Very true.
I think for me, this movie was like a 7.5.
So we're close.
Yeah.
That's lower than I thought you were going to say.
Really?
Yeah, because you were like, I really like this movie.
I did. I liked it about a 7.5.
Yeah. Okay, but you said that you really liked it. So I was like, oh, wow, she might be on the same page as me. So you rank this below Project Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I liked them for totally different reasons. And the
I
scope
agree
of
with
Project
you.
Hail Mary felt so much bigger. This did feel like an A24 movie, which is much smaller in size and scale.
Oh, yeah,
and
I totally agree with you.
And that, for me, plays into it a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But, I enjoyed it. I also...
She's smiling, everyone. That was with a smile.
I don't really like Robert Pattinson. That's my drama. I think he's a good actor.
Yeah.
But, him as a person doesn't...
He's a weird guy.
He's like Daniel Radcliffe's Wario.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, and
there is something about watching him with Zendaya that I do just find off-putting. She's beautiful, gorgeous, beautiful, angel.
Well, the scene where the scene, you know which scene I'm talking
Of
about.
course I know which scene you're
So
talking
guys,
about.
there's this scene where they're like, I guess they're like trying to have makeup sex. I guess.
She's trying to like get him to engage with her in any way.
And he's like touching himself and like groping her boob in the weirdest way that I've ever seen. And I'm like, this cannot be comfortable. That cannot be profitable for Frito-Lay. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
ew. Like,
No, and I said this to the group last night. This movie affirmed to me that there is nothing ickier or ick-inducing than watching a man zip up his fly.
Well, I was telling everyone that I got the ick from Robert Pattinson, and I was like, "Oh, I see what the girls see. Like I get it now. Like I totally get the
you
ick.
get the ick. Yeah.
Yeah, like I knew it was a thing, but then like he did something where I was like, "Dude, what the hell are you doing?" Like
it's the equivalent of being like, "Ooh, brother."
yeah, brother. Like yeah, truly, that is kind of the vibe.
That's really what the ick is, and
Yeah.
Rob gives it to me sometimes in spades, and so
Yeah.
it's that movie. While I enjoyed it and really enjoyed it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'll watch it again, and that's probably entirely because it's Rob Pattinson. Now compare that with Twilight. Twilight, I'm just so accustomed to him. We've picked apples and we've picked papas in Apple's orchard.
Yeah, you nailed it. That was really good. It was really good.
Again, if we ever make merch,
Yeah.
we picked papas in Apple's orchard. But that's how I feel with him in Twilight, where it's like,
I also like
you're
Robert Pattinson as Daniel Radcliffe's Wario. That's a good one too. I like that should be merch.
okay.
But yeah.
But I like him as Cedric Diggory. I like him as
Yeah.
I mean, I tolerate him as Edward. Edward actually.
I like him as the French king in Henry.
Oh yeah, I actually really like him as
Yeah.
that.
I never saw the Batman. Can't comment. I heard he's good, apparently.
Yeah, he just, especially as he's gotten older, like I found that interview, you know, the one where they hook celebrities up to a lie detector and then their co-stars interview them
Oh, he's like a
with Jennifer Lawrence, where he's like, I'm a Gen Z. I found that to be entirely off-putting in a funny way, but still very off-putting.
Well, he says that he lies all the time.
Right.
In interviews. Like he's admitted to that. He's just like, yeah, I just do it.
Right.
And
I'm a little bit like,
in some ways I get it for like some of the media sensationalism.
but like Daniel Radcliffe also fucks with the media, but does it in a way that is genuinely very funny.
Right.
And isn't this like weird kind of pseudo loser off-putting behavior.
I'm also kind of like, if you're going to joke in that way, I feel like you have to be a little extreme about it, you know?
Right.
To where like people are like, oh, like he's obviously joking, in my opinion. That's kind of the vibe that I feel like he needs to get.
He has the
do
ability to choose whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
And I think he does interesting projects. And so in that way, he is very akin to Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
But Daniel Radcliffe has never given me the ick.
No.
And I
No.
find Daniel Radcliffe to be like a genuinely funny and interesting person. Whereas Rob, I'm just like, you're doing what now?
I think the thing that's interesting is Robert Pattinson in some ways still has to work, and Daniel Radcliffe could not. He's just like, I'll do it. like he's got so many royalties built up from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like he.
Well, and this is where I think too, though, like Rob's weird choices aren't even as out there. Now, granted, I didn't see The Lighthouse. I did hear that one was very strange with him and Willem Dafoe.
I also didn't see the one with him and Jennifer Lawrence, and I heard that one was interesting.
Yeah, maybe we're just missing out on his truly unhinged performances that would make us be like, I get it, I get it now. But like
the Danny DeVito, I get it.
Yeah. But like instead, I feel like he's pulling a bit of a Justin Bieber and just being a weirdo for the sake of being a weirdo.
Yes. That's actually a good comparison.
Whereas, like, Daniel Radcliffe has a whimsy to him that makes everything feel authentic.
Yeah. Also, knowing that like Robert Pattinson's mortal enemy is Jack Whitehall is so funny.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Jack Whitehall has also been giving me the ick lately. He's really he's sold out.
He kind of gave me the ick for a little bit there as well. Wait, how did he sell out? What happened?
Well, just like he's doing like...
He's on the Epstein list, isn't he?
Okay, that was weird. How old is
I don't
he?
think Winnie the Pooh is on the Epstein list. There's a photo with Jeff and the Winnie the Pooh.
But it's not funny. Not really.
Not really, but...
No, Jack gave me the ick around the time he did Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Hold on. I want you to know that you just Sigmund Freud and you said that Jeff gave me the ick.
No, I said Jack.
I can't
Roll the
wait.
tapes.
Roll the tape.
Play it back.
Roll the tapes. When he did, Winnie the Pooh?
No. No. Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Oh, he did do Clifford the Big Red Dog.
And I was starting to be like, all right, famous at what cost, my man? Like,
I forgot that he did Clifford.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting one.
It was giving, like, I need to break in.
Yes.
Adjacent to the monkey rock star movie.
Oh.
Similar. Again, similar vibes.
With, what's his name?
Robbie Williams.
Robbie Williams. That's right.
Forever dunking on that movie.
Yeah.
We watch it and we're like, wow. Cinema.
I mean, I will say this. I haven't seen a bad movie with CGI monkeys. Name me one. Sorry, let me clarify. Not monkeys, apes. I haven't seen a bad movie with CGI apes because Indiana Jones, the Temple of, or the Crystal Skull that had CGI monkeys, that was a little rough.
Monkey.
That's a CGI monkey. Yeah, with Shia LaBeouf when he's going through the vines. That's the CGI monkey.
And that is an amalgamation joke because if you watch the Mummy commentary
on DVD only,
the director, it's like it made in 1999, right? The director keeps anytime there's a scarab that moves, he's like, that's a CGI scarab. That's a CGI scarab. That's a CGI scarab. And it's like, yeah, dude.
And then every once in a while he'd be like, oh, that's a real one.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah, and the CGI, the effects of that movie, they've aged pretty okay, but like not okay enough to where you don't know that that's a CGI scarab. And I totally get he was doing that in like 2000 and people maybe didn't know, but his fixation on pointing it out every single time in every single scene is just like,
do you think he was proud?
It's a scarab that's moving under someone's skin. Of course that is CGI.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like really obvious. Like
it's so funny. So now anytime we watch it, we're like, that's a CGI scarab. And if we see a scarab in real life, we're like, that's a CGI scarab. So that's more merch, I guess, for us. That's a CGI scarab. But then it's not. It's just a monkey.
That would be funny. Yeah. I agree. Well, I'm shocked that you only rated it a 7.5. I'm truly
shocked. This is your favorite movie of 2026.
But you know my favorite movies. You know my favorite movies.
Yeah, I just didn't see
I like
this one
this
coming.
type of stuff.
Your favorite movie is About Time.
Yeah, a low-budget British film.
Oh, it's the budget that gets you? Do I have a movie for you? Have you ever seen Troll 2?
Have you ever seen Primer? That had a $200 budget, and it's one of the best movies ever.
I raise you The Room.
That had a high budget. That has an unknown budget funded by some rich man's fantasy.
I did not kill her.
I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
It's just Emma being like, I did not kill her. I did not. I have a meme for you for the TikTok.
Dude, that's so funny. Oh my god. That's really good. That's a deep cut. I'm stealing that.
You
Oh
heard it
my
here
god.
first.
No, and then we walks in. Oh, hi, doggy, and she's holding
hi,
the gun to the dog.
Oh my god, that's diabolical.
Yeah, but you know what? I didn't kill anyone,
But
so
then you
I
should
need some
have-
empathy.
You should have Rachel when it's you're tearing me apart, Lisa.
Oh my god.
If only there was someone in that movie with cancer. Well, it's official. I definitely have breast cancer.
Yeah. Never comes up again.
She had bigger things to worry about, obviously. If you don't know what we're talking about, you do need to go watch The Room.
How could they not know what you're talking
about? Not Room with Brie Larson. Good movie, sad movie, scary movie.
No, that movie sucks. Sorry. Hot take.
The lingering silence.
I think I just a knife right to the kidney for Maddie.
I mean, I don't like it that much, but I didn't think it sucked. I really liked the book in I never want to read it again kind of way.
I've never hated a child so much in a movie than I have that child in that movie.
Maybe Bryony in Atonement.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, are you in for a treat?
I haven't seen it.
Maybe we'll do a rewind on Atonement.
Atonement? What is it?
I don't want to tell you.
No, you can't even give me a general premise.
Keira Knightley, James McAvoy, young Saoirse Ronan.
Whoa.
World War II.
Saoirse Rowan's in it.
Yes. Young. Baby. World War II. Large British house. Drama. An amazing green dress and a library scene that will haunt you for years.
Scary.
What more could you want, really?
Then World War II? More World War II? Sign me up.
I'm feeling a little slap happy, or as my mother would say, I'm in rare form. I think we're approaching my bedtime.
Anyways, that's the movie.
We liked it. It was fun.
Best movie of the year so far. So
some might say. Some have said.
Yeah, exactly. You should totally comment, guys, and say, "Dear Maddie, I thought blah blah blah," and do that. Share with your friends. If you don't, that might be the worst thing that you've ever done, and I'm going to judge you profusely for it. So make sure that you do that. Otherwise, just have a great rest of your day, and give you a little kiss goodbye. Bye.